Greetings from Infinite Human and the Florence International Film School, and me, Elizabeth Monroy. I just have a little something I wanted to say, to put out there, to hopefully help make people aware and to help shift things. I've lived out of the country for the past 10 years, but I've been back here in America, the United States of America, for over a year now. And, everyone rants and raves about what's wrong with America. And the truth is, there's so much here. So much. It's amazing. And there's so much wealth compared to the rest of the planet. You have no idea. But there is one thing, and it's only one thing that is really ruining America. I know everyone thinks it's the Republicans, and they think it's the Democrats, and it's healthcare, and it's commercialism, and it's, on and on and on and on. But if you get to the root of everything, it's one thing. That one thing is greed. Yeah, greed. My spiritual teacher told us the symbolism of different races on this planet. And the black race, the symbolism is to use your freedom. And the white race, the symbolism is greed. Greed. And if you look at any country other than the United States, you can, and if you've lived out of it at any time or just been stepped out of it, or if you're an older person, you can come back and just see it. I mean, I've been here for a year now. I've gone through Black Fridays too. I've gone through Cyber Mondays. I've gone and seen so much stuff. And I've done it too. I mean, because that's what our national pastime is. If we're not working, we're shopping. If we're not making the money, we're spending the money. So it just comes in and out and in and out. And, the bankers are the ones that have it all. So, and the 5 families that rule the planet. But anyway, whether you believe that or not, just become aware of how it's destroyed healthcare, how it's destroyed our farming industry, because it's all about, instead of serving the best product for the least amount of money, it's serving the worst product for the most amount of money. So we are, even though we're very wealthy, we're starving, as I said before in another video, because our food is horrible. The clothes we buy, we can get, buy one and get 50 off of what? Of cheap crap that's been made in China or other places. And, I do it too, because it's cheap, and that's all you can get. You can pay a lot for something cheap, or you can pay a little for something cheap, but it's all cheap stuff. It's not like, the stuff we had before. And I was talking to my mother, and have you ever heard the word store-bought? It was store-bought. It used to be in this country when people came here from Europe and, killed off all the Indians and took all the land and all that stuff. But they lived off the land, and they grew their own produce, and they built their own homes, and they were off the grid. You didn't even have a grid then, of course. And if you got anything, if you used money for anything, it was store-bought, and that was a big deal. You go to the store maybe once a month and get, some calico and some sugar and some, fancy goods that you'd ordered probably. So, we've gotten so far from that. I think we just need to recenter ourselves, and inside our inner wisdom, our inner divine frequency, our inner godliness is telling us that it feels so wrong. Why? Because we have so many health problems right now, because the food's terrible. Why? Because even though we make a lot of money, we're bankrupt. We're financially poor. We're buying and living in cheap houses. Another example is, if you're in Europe, and we watched a lot of houses being constructed, and they make them out of concrete, and they're secure. I lived in Guam, and the building I lived went through 2 super typhoons at 250 kilometers an hour winds that stayed in the same place for over 24 hours. And my building was fine. We didn't have any power or anything for months, because that's another story. But in here, you know, a hurricane comes through Florida and everything is made of what? It's made of cardboard. That's what your houses are made of. They call it something different. They call it whatever they call it, I forget, but you know, it's cardboard. And the clothing is polyesters and stuff that makes you, you know, that's cheap. And the food is GMOs, and you know, everything that we have lots and lots of is terrible, and we work so much. I tell people that in Europe they have all the month of August off. I went to my doctor and she was on vacation, not vacation, she was on maternity leave for 2 years. 2 years, you know? And these are people that Americans would consider them poor because they only probably make less than $2,000 a month. But they live so much more wealthy. So we really need to look at what has happened to our great country because of greed. And if you look at politics, it's greed which is behind everything. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. And I just wanted a little something to think about. Bye. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Everything else.